Alright, what's up YouTube? So I got the Bug out here, just got it in the garage. I haven't really had any time to work on it yet or figure out what's wrong with it, so that's what I'm going to try to do tonight. Also, I also got these J-tubes. They're part of the exhaust that I guess I just didn't, or I just didn't get them at the same time that I got the rest of the exhaust. So if anything, these will go on tonight. This should be a super easy install right here, and get rid of the rest of the heater pieces. Maybe even just take the old ones off and then see if I can see anything from under there. It was leaking gas, so that's all I really know right now. It was making a lot of smoke. I also got a new belt because the belt flew off it. Alright, so I'm going to jack this thing up. I got it on some wood already when I pushed it in here. So now if I can just get the jack under there and jack this thing up. Okay, so I got the car all jacked up, and even though I don't really think I'm going to see anything obvious, I'm going to come down and look. Little oil leak, whatever, Volkswagen. So this is what I'm taking out, all this. And it really looked like the gas was leaking from somewhere in this area. Okay, so there's a gas line. There's the gas line right there. So that's what I'm going to check all up in here around this gas line. So I definitely am going to pull this thing out first and replace that J-tube, put that up there, because if I take this out, it'll give me a lot more space. Look at this big honking thing. And all this heater tube can come out too, because I'm not going to have heat. The heat doesn't work. It's probably just because all this is all mangled. But eventually I'd like to just put an aftermarket heater box. I'll probably put that up in the front so that I do have the option to drive this thing in the winter if and when I want to. First thing I'm going to do is grab a screwdriver, take these two things off. I think these are all like 10 mil. So it should come out pretty easy, hopefully. Alright, so I'm just trying to unscrew this right here. Alright, so I unscrewed those two screws, and now I just got to take this clamp back off. Alright, so I pulled off the two bolts that were on this thing too. It's just two flathead screws actually. Next thing I got to do is remove the bolts that connect the J-tube to the head, and I think it's a 1/2 inch. I thought it was a 13, but it keeps slipping on me, so I got to do that, and there's two of them, and that's the same on the other side. I think this side's actually harder. It feels like there's just more stuff up and in here, but I'll get it. Alright, so I got that first bottom bolt off. Now I got to figure out how to even get that top one out. These were on there real good, so this has been a bit of a pain, but hopefully that next one comes out not as bad. And so I got the ratchet up here, and I'm going like 1 or 2 clicks at a time. It's up on that second bolt. It's taking forever. That was kind of a pain in the neck because I could only get the ratchet to move like 2 clicks at a time. But after a while I finally got this thing out. I think this side is worse because it's got this whole mechanism over on it. It's kind of crazy. And what else? Yeah, I had this wonk ass nut. So that was kind of weird. But that came off. I got to do the other side still. But underneath, actually, not under this car. Under this car. So that all came out pretty easy. No, not pretty easy actually. Came out kind of a pain in the ass. But it smelled like gas up here, so I've got a feeling that this gas line is the one that's leaking. Up here. What the Christ? I just popped the fucking valve cover off. Shit sprayed gas everywhere. Doused it all over myself. I'm covered in gasoline right now. What the hell? Yeah, so this is pretty crazy right here. So I guess, I don't know if I just set up the carburetors wrong or something, and they're just putting too much gas in this. This thing's still leaking. Now I think it's just leaking oil, but I'll probably put that cover back on just to keep any of the rest from going all over the floor. Made a huge mess. Huge mess. But at least I know where the problem is. It's not a line. Alright, so I just slapped that thing back on there. Got a big ass pile of sawdust over here. I'm probably going to sweep that just to clean some of this up. This is a mess. But first, before I do that, I'm going to just pop the other side off first and see if that happens again. Alright, so that side's not nearly as bad, but still doing the same thing. So I'm thinking this must have flooded with gas or something, and that's why it was bogging so hard on me. So it's probably just going to be some carburetor adjustments. So I guess here's one of those times it helps to be a carpenter. So I got a bunch of sawdust, so I just threw that down and let it soak some of that up, and I just gave it a good sweep. Oh, wow, that was crazy. Well, I'm happy I got that figured out, though, I think. At least, I don't know if I really figured it out or not, why it's doing that. Get this first J-tube in. Hopefully these will go in pretty easy, I think. And I think that other one's going to come out easier than this one came out, because it just there's a little more space where it is. Alright, so hopefully this will just slide on there. That's going. Okay, so you got to kind of get them both at the same time. Oh, that's a perfect fit. There we go. I was going to say, I bought a non-eBay part, it better fit good. Okay, so now I just got to put those new nuts, or reuse the old nuts on there. But I got a lot more space to work now, so it's going to make it way easier. And I'm going to do that first before I put the flange on here. Alright, so I got those two bolts on there. Now all I got to do is just slide this forward, put that old exhaust fitting on there, that clamp, and then that side's done. Okay, so that's one side in all the way. So now with that side of that heater tube removed, this whole thing can come out too. No, I thought it could. There we go. So that's all trash. Even though I need to replace these heater channels, I need to replace those for structural reasons. This can go in the trash. I don't want that. Yeah, I'm gonna have a big hole in my car for a little while, but this thing's fucking full of holes, so it'll be alright. Alright, so I got everything disconnected. That bolt up there was a real pain, but I've actually lucked out and I have a 1/4 inch drive 13 mil socket. And with a 1/4 inch ratchet, it was able to fit up in there. So with that, it works pretty good. Now it should just come right out. Take a little wiggling, but that's it. So a little prying, it came out, but it just fell right on my arm. That really hurt. Oh, these things are heavy. They really are. They're not light at all. But I'm happy that one's out. That one was actually, I don't know if that was more of a pain than the other one, but they were both a real pain to get out. So I'm happy they're both out. Now I gotta just slap this new one in. That should be it. I gotta put that new belt on and hopefully it'll run again. Now I'm gonna put the new one in. Slid these pieces on here first. Oh wait, they're backwards. And then I got the gasket here. Alright. Like a glove. Goes right on there. And then when I pulled that other one out, it pulled the whole stud, so I'm just going to put it right back in like this. So that there's my favorite part of these. Look how much more room there is to work with. Just makes it way easier. There's a lot more space under here. Like this one looks good. It's in there nice and tight. I'm kind of sad all this paint's going to burn off, but actually once I get these in, I might take them back out and repaint them with some high temp paint, but I'm going to let it all burn off first because it will. You see it did it on this, the brand new exhaust. That's alright though. here it didn't really do it on the muffler part. I don't know, just gotta tighten this in and put that clamp on. Okay, so I got those 2 bolts back there on. They went on real easy. There's so much more space with these things. So if you like space and you don't care about heat as much, say get these J-tubes. They're awesome. Well, let's see if they work, but I don't see how they couldn't. Holy shit. Anyway, this thing is just going back on here like this. Ooh, that didn't even spin. The only thing I have to do now is just drain the oil out because I think it's full of gas. I'm just going to pull one of these studs out and then it should just come right out. I think these are 10s as well, actually. I just need to get a drain an oil pan. Alright, so a lot of times you're supposed to replace all of the, replace this, actually, hold on, I didn't want to take that one off. There's like a screen in here instead of a filter. You're supposed to replace, but I recently changed the oil on this thing, so I'm not going to bother even replacing it. Probably get some hate for that, but that's okay. Just because I just did it and it's kind of a pain. You just got to take out a bunch of bolts. So I'm just going to take out one, oil's going to drain out. Oh yeah, that smells like gas. And that is like so thin. The oil I usually put in here is pretty thick, so it's just pouring right out. It never comes out like that. So I'm not quite sure why there's gas getting into my engine, but I gotta run to the mobile station or something because Napa's closed right now. Pick myself up some couple quarts of oil. This thing only takes like 2.5 quarts. Maybe, I think it's 2.65 actually, but I'm gonna let that drain out and then we'll get some new oil for it. So the oil gas stuff is all drained out. Ew, look at that. And then I was trying to put the belt on and I was just using the impact and I totally wrecked my pulley. So that kind of stinks. I might try to just run it for the night just without the alternator belt, which is not really what I want to do, but I want to see if I can get it to start tonight. But first I gotta run out and get some oil. And I just picked up some oil, so now I just gotta put the oil in, and I just gotta put the oil in, and I'm gonna try and start this thing and see what happens. All right, I'm gonna try to start this thing now. See what happens. I don't really know what's gonna happen. Alright, it starts. Major exhaust leak, but it starts, so I'm happy. Alright, I'm just going to rip this thing around the block real quick, because I haven't driven it in a while. It doesn't want to go for me now. Well, now I can't get it to start again. So that kind of stinks. I'm a little pissed, but it wants to. I think it's out of time or something. Probably not going to mess with it too much more. It's doing this weird thing where when I put the key in, the blinkers go nuts. I don't know what that's all about. Let's see if it starts now. It's like nothing. That's going to be pretty much it for this video, I think. But this it ran once today, so I guess that's better than it was at the beginning of the day. Yeah, that kind of stinks, but at the same time it's kind of good. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video, and I'll have a new video up next week. Thank you for watching.